Dear learners, today, the focus of my presentation is meaning of timetable and its principles, importance, objectives, and construction. Let us first try to understand meaning of timetable. A school timetable is a visual representation of how time is allocated to different activities and classes within an educational institution. It typically includes information such as the subject, teacher, class or grade, and the timings for each session. The primary purposes of a school timetable are as follows. 1. Structuring learning. A school timetable provides a structured framework for students and teachers, ensuring that classes, subjects, and activities are organized in a coherent sequence. 2. Optimizing resources. It helps schools allocate teaching staff, classrooms, and other resources efficiently, avoiding scheduling conflicts. 3. Minimizing chaos. By specifying when and where each class or activity should occur, it minimizes confusion and ensures that the school day proceeds smoothly. 4. Balancing learning. Timetables distribute subjects and activities evenly across days and weeks, preventing overload or excessive concentration of specific subjects on the same day. 5. Maximizing learning time. Timetables aim to make the most of the available instructional time by eliminating downtime and interruptions. Let me now discuss principles of timetable. Timetabling in an educational context is a complex task that involves coordinating various resources, subjects, and activities to ensure efficient and effective use of time. 1. Equity and fairness. Ensure that all students and teachers have an equitable distribution of subjects, classes, and activities. No group should be disadvantaged in terms of access to resources. 2. Optimal resource utilization. Maximize the use of available resources, including classrooms, teaching staff, and materials. Avoid resource wastage or underutilization. 3. Consistency and predictability. Maintain consistent timings and schedules to create predictability for students, teachers, and staff. Consistency helps in smooth transitions between activities. Example: if Monday's schedule starts with mathematics at 9 a.m., ensure that mathematics is consistently scheduled for that time throughout the week. 4. Effective breaks and transitions. Allow adequate time for breaks and transitions between classes. These intervals help students and teachers refresh and switch smoothly between subjects. 5. Subject distribution. Distribute subjects evenly throughout the week to prevent subject overload on certain days. This prevents mental fatigue and optimizes learning. 6. Consideration of individual needs. Account for the specific needs of students, teachers, and special programs. Ensure that timetables accommodate factors such as individual learning support, teacher preferences, and extracurricular activities. Example: schedule additional support classes for students who require remedial assistance at times when they are most focused and receptive. 7. Examination and assessment planning. Plan for examinations, assessments, and evaluations well in advance. Avoid scheduling major assessments on consecutive days to reduce student stress. 8. Flexibility and adaptability. Design timetables with some flexibility to accommodate unforeseen events, such as school closures due to emergencies or adjustments needed based on feedback. Example: keep some time slots or classrooms unallocated in case they are needed for rescheduling or special events. 9. Feedback and continuous improvement. Gather feedback from teachers, students, and staff regarding the timetable's effectiveness. Use this feedback for ongoing improvement and refinement. Example: conduct surveys or meetings to collect input on whether the timetable meets the needs of the school community. What are various objectives of timetable? Optimize resource allocation. To efficiently allocate limited educational resources such as classrooms, teaching staff, and materials to ensure their optimal use. Example: Assign classrooms and teachers in a way that minimizes conflicts and maximizes their utility throughout the school day. 2. Facilitate effective teaching and learning. To create schedules that enable teachers to cover the curriculum effectively and provide students with the opportunity to learn without disruptions. Example: allocate adequate time for each subject and ensure that classes are not too long, preventing student fatigue. 3. Ensure equitable access to education. To guarantee that all students have equal access to subjects, teachers, and educational facilities, regardless of their demographic or academic background. Example: distribute subjects and teachers fairly among different sections or classes to prevent resource imbalances. 4. Minimize wastage of time and resources. To reduce idle time for both students and teachers and to avoid wasting valuable educational resources. Example: schedule classes efficiently to minimize gaps between classes and prevent classrooms from remaining unused. 5. Support a balanced curriculum. To ensure that students receive a balanced education by distributing subjects evenly across the school week, preventing subject overload on certain days. Example: avoid scheduling multiple demanding subjects on the same day, allowing students to focus on each subject effectively. 6. Promote consistency and predictability. To create a consistent and predictable daily or weekly routine for students and teachers, which aids in smooth transitions between activities. 7. Allow for adequate breaks and transitions. To provide students and teachers with adequate breaks and transition time between classes, allowing for physical and mental refreshment. Example: schedule short breaks between classes and longer breaks for lunch and recess. 8. Accommodate individual needs and preferences. To consider the specific needs and preferences of students, teachers, and special programs, ensuring a conducive learning environment. Example: schedule support classes for students who require extra assistance during times when they are most focused. Construction of timetable. Constructing a timetable for educational institutions is a complex task that involves careful planning, organization, and consideration of various factors. A well-constructed timetable ensures efficient use of resources, minimizes disruptions, and facilitates effective teaching and learning. Here are the key steps and considerations in constructing a timetable. 1. Define objectives and constraints. Objectives: clearly define the objectives of the timetable, such as optimizing resource allocation, providing equitable access to subjects, and minimizing gaps between classes. Constraints: identify constraints, including the availability of classrooms, teachers' preferences, and students' needs. 2. Gather information. Collect necessary information, including the total number of classes, available classrooms, teaching staff, subjects to be taught, and any special programs or requirements. 3. Create a timetable committee. Form a committee consisting of teachers, administrators, and staff responsible for constructing the timetable. This committee should include representatives from different departments. 4. Determine the timetable structure. Decide on the overall structure of the timetable, including the number of periods per day, the duration of each period, and the number of days in the week. 5. Allocate resources. Assign teachers to subjects and classes, considering their qualifications and preferences. Allocate classrooms to classes and subjects, taking into account classroom capacity and suitability for different subjects. 6. Minimize conflicts. Avoid scheduling classes taught by the same teacher or requiring the same classroom at the same time. Minimize teacher and student scheduling conflicts, such as overlapping classes or back-to-back classes in different locations. 7. Create a draft timetable. Using scheduling software or manually, create a draft timetable that incorporates the allocated resources and constraints. 8. Seek feedback. Share the draft timetable with teachers, staff, and relevant stakeholders for feedback and suggestions. Consider input from teachers and staff regarding their preferences and any specific needs. 9. Finalize the timetable. Once feedback has been considered and adjustments made, finalize the timetable. Ensure that the final timetable aligns with the defined objectives and constraints. 10. Communicate the timetable. Share the final timetable with teachers, students, and parents through various communication channels such as notice boards, websites, and emails. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel Education and Teacher Education at Shokin Bilal.